All right, folks, once again, I am Tom Downey. That is Jimmy. You guys love to hate on my Western Conference playoff projections, even though we'll see who's right in the end. I feel pretty good about that. So now we're going to do the Eastern Conference here, and you can yell at both me and Jimmy this time around. So same deal as before. Only on what we know right now, so if things change, we reserve the right to have a material change affect the results of our Eastern Conference power rankings. And these are based on the seedings, not most likely to win the title, but what we think the seedings will be come playoff time.
Right.
At number 1, it is the Milwaukee Bucks. You and I were in agreement on that one.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're bringing back basically the same exact team minus Malcolm Brogdon. I know Brogdon is a huge part of what they did, but he was also hurt a ton. So instead you bring in Wesley Matthews and Robin Lopez, quality veterans that can come off the bench and play right away for you. And the most important thing is you have one of the best players in the NBA, Giannis Antetokounmpo. And I mean, that should be enough right there.
Yeah, and even if they take a step back, you know, the next closest team was the Raptors at 58. They're not going to win 58. Then it came to 51. So they can still win 55 games, which would be like maybe the 3 seed in the Western Conference, and still end up being the number 1 seed out in the East. The big question for me as it relates to Milwaukee, Jimmy, is with Brogdon gone, how does this unit look? Do they play Giannis at the 3, at the 4? Who's that other starter? Is it George Hill, Ilyasova, Wesley Matthews? I don't quite know who that crunch time guy is. Maybe it doesn't end up being Hill.
It's definitely a question mark. I think George Hill makes the most sense right away. I also don't hate the idea of putting Wesley Matthews in there when it comes down to it, because Wesley Matthews doesn't have to shoot the ball. You know, just make him play defense, and he can do that. He's a willing defender. You put Bledsoe, and Wesley Matthews kind of your backcourt, and then Giannis and Middleton your 2 forwards with Lopez in at center. I think that's pretty solid there for the Milwaukee Bucks next season.
So I do like where they're at right now in terms of their overall all setup. I think they're going to take a little bit of a step back here, but that core is still very much in place to have a big-time season and big-time success. So the Bucks check in there at number 1. I do think bringing back Lopez, Middleton were key there. But who do you guys think will win the Eastern Conference? Let us know in the comments section here. Give some quick shout-outs here as well. People typing in Lakers. This is Eastern Conference, guys. Eastern Conference East, not West Coast there. So I'm not going to shout at people saying Lakers and Clippers. Bucks,
there it is.
Raptors, surprise. Pacers, a couple Pacers fans there today. Bucks, Pacers, Sixers.
Hawks.
The Greek Freaks teams. Hawks, Indiana, Sixers. Philly, Bucks. Mostly Bucks. Some Philadelphia, too. And Philadelphia here is actually number 2. They were number 3 last year. They do lose Jimmy Butler and JJ. They bring in Al Horford, and retain Tobias Harris. Is this team better or worse, though, from last year? Overall talent-wise, I'm not talking about like their win-loss.
Yeah.
But overall talent.
I think overall talent, they're a little worse. I think they've taken a step back. But their depth is also a little better, I think, right now. So, I don't know. Their starting 5, worse. Overall team might end up being better, honestly. I do like that they got Josh Richardson in return for Jimmy Butler. I like the pickup of Al Horford. Now, losing J.J. Redick's probably going to be a bigger loss than I think some people will expect.
And meanwhile, because the Raptors won 58 games this past year, and they're just not going to do that this season, that does mean that the Sixers can have a slightly worse team but win more games, especially if Ben Simmons can actually know how to do a 3-point shot. Now, many of you had Indiana as a number 1 team. We got them at number 3. They went 48-34 last year. They do lose Bojan Bogdanovic and Thaddeus Young, but they bring in Malcolm Brogdon. They bring in Jeremy Lin, and in theory, Victor Oladipo is going to be healthy for the entire season.
Yeah, they also had T.J. Warren in replace for Bojan Bogdanovic and T.J. McConnell, the other T.J. Now they have 3 T.J.s. All the T.J.s in the NBA play for the Indiana Pacers now.
True.
I love what the Pacers have done. I think they could be a 50-win team, and I think that'll get them right into the 3rd seed, Indiana. But health is going to be huge for them.
Yeah.
Brogdon is not always healthy. Oladipo suffered a huge setback, and those 2 guys right there, that's your main 2. Now, Sabonis and Turner are super important as well, and their health isn't always a big question mark, but you can't rely on a center and a power forward or a slash center or whatever you want to consider Sabonis as to carry this team to 50 wins.
Yeah, so this is their current core right now. I like their bench, too. Jeremy Lamb, Goga Bitadze, Aaron Holiday's decent enough. McConnell's a good backup point guard. It's a good team for Indiana. Will they win 50 games this coming season?
I'm going to say yes. I think they will. I think if they're healthy enough, and hopefully they are. I mean, you never want to see injury hold back a team. I think they'll get to 50.
All right, folks. So make sure you are subscribed to us here on YouTube. Let's make sure. Let me get the exact numbers here updated for you guys too, as well. So hold on for that one here for the actual subscriber numbers. I'll get it updated. We are at 126,217. So I'll put that new number in there for you guys. 126,217. Get us to 130K and then 150K, right? And type S like Neil did if you're already subscribed as well.
Upwards and onwards.
Yeah.
Keep moving up.
We'll keep you
climbing
covered
the
with
ranks.
all kinds of NBA stuff. We'll also ramp up more NFL coverage here as well. So make sure you subscribe. Links right there, but you can just subscribe by clicking the big red button here on YouTube. Number 4, the Boston Celtics.
I love what they did this offseason. It obviously sucks that they lost Kyrie Irving and Al Horford. But if you bounce back with another all-star like Kemba Walker, that's a huge win if you're the Celtics. And I like Enes Kanter as well.
Mm-hmm. So overall for Boston, how would you grade their offseason? Factoring in that you did lose Kyrie and Horford, although you did rebound pretty well.
A-. I think it's an A- offseason for the Boston Celtics.
Is this like you missed a three-pointer and then you rebounded it and got 2, or rebounded, got fouled, and made one of the 2 free throws?
No, I think you rebounded and got 2.
Okay.
I think you did.
Okay.
I like what they did. And I think, honestly, there's a chance that Kyrie is addition by subtraction, just because of his off-the-court issues.
A big question for me is how they figure out the number 4, that true power forward spot, the 4 role, because you have Grant Williams and then Hayward and Tatum. I don't know if there's an obvious fit as that power forward spot yet for Boston.
Yeah, not yet. Luckily, the NBA is kind of becoming more and more positionless, so they don't have to worry about it that much. Mm-hmm. Now, when they have to go guard the Paul Millsaps of the world, the Kristaps Porzingises of the world, the other kind of big power forwards, then there might be a problem. But right now, you can roll out with this. I think you'll be just fine for day one.
All right, so question for you guys. Will the Celtics be better or worse without Kyrie? Type B for better, W for worse. Also want to shout out Mr. Montclair. Says, come on, guys, 104K watching, but only 50-plus likes. Need to show love. Press the like button. You get us, Mr. Montclair. You win Subscriber of the Day. Thank you very much for that.
That's big time.
Let me see what the results here are. I see quite a few Bs coming in. Actually, higher than I thought we were going to see there. So
you got some smart watchers, because I agree with them.
The Bees have it there on that one. Boston checked in at 4. Then it's the Brooklyn Nets at number 5. They bring in Kyrie Irving and DeAndre Jordan, but remember, this is only for this upcoming season, so you're actually not going to have Kevin Durant.
Yeah, presumably the entire season, as long as he doesn't rush that injury back.
I don't think he's gonna.
I don't think he will either. Now, if they make the playoffs, I could see him kind of coming in real late. But again, he kind of already rushed it in the NBA Finals. That didn't go so well for him. So I don't see them rushing him back. They obviously lost D'Angelo Russell, but they had to because they brought in Kyrie. Ed Davis was a good rebounder for him. He's out the door. And then Jared Dudley was kind of just, the veteran presence there for the Brooklyn Nets.
Here's the Nets' current lineup, and I'll make note right now as well. Again, first off, no Durant's on there because he's hurt. I see some snake emojis flowing in. I think the difference between 4 and 5 is far closer and far smaller than the difference between 5 and 6. And
yeah, for sure.
I think this is kind of the cutoff here of teams that I think could legitimately win 50 games this season.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if you're going to see more than 6 teams being in the mix. They're like you definitely are for the Western Conference when I think 7 teams could easily win 50 in the West, if not 8, frankly.
Yeah. I mean, this Nets team was a 6 seed last season. So
yeah.
If you think they got better, then, I think 5 or 4 is a proper projection.
And they get, 7-ish games better. That probably puts them in that 4 range, maybe 5 on a little bit on the downside there. Number 6, then, the Miami Heat. They, of course, did not make the playoffs last year. They take a big leap up in our projected rankings again. They were 4 games under 500 last year as the 10 seed. They leapfrogged to 6 because they brought in Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, they finally have a bona fide star. Like, he is the star, the go-to guy. They haven't had that in quite a while, besides, the Dwayne Wade days. Basically.
I mean, you think it's fair that Butler's worth like 5 wins, right?
At least.
Well, that puts them at 44 or 44 wins. That's the 6th seed.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Now, the question for me in the Heat is, A, how far can Butler take them without any moves, which we're not projecting any trades involving Mr. Westbrook right now.
Right.
So if that does happen, we'll change this, obviously.
Yeah.
But the Heat right now, I think, with Butler, a huge win in free agency /trades there, make them a legitimate contender.
Yeah,
to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I think contender to make the playoffs is absolutely fair. You expect Adebayo to take another step forward, and if Winslow, Waiters, and all of them get completely healthy, like that's a pretty solid team.
So again, no Richardson, but Butler comes in. That's a huge positive. They get rid of Hassan Whiteside, which in the end might even be better for the locker room side of things. Move then to number 7. Who was it here that predicted this? Gurkan Basarda said, "Are the Raptors 7?" Correct, they are. Still a borderline playoff team in the mix, even without Kawhi here.
Yeah, I mean, look, you lose Kawhi and Danny Green. That's 2 starters on a championship team. But you still have 3/5 of that championship starting roster, So I like what they have. I like that they got Marc Gasol back. Stanley Johnson, Rondae Hollis-Jefferson don't move the needle really at all, but it's something to get in there. And then you have Anunoby. If he's healthy, that's a big pickup and keep for them. And Siakam, I'm expecting him to take a huge leap.
Look, a lot of the Raptors' hopes for this coming season really do rely on Pascal Siakam. If he does not take another little step forward, they might miss the playoffs altogether. And I don't even want to knock on Toronto that much, but they're going to be in that battling for a playoff spot with teams like the Magic, the Pistons, a couple others in there as well. I don't want to give away quite yet, but that's going to be key for them.
Yeah.
Is Siakam taking another step forward.
Yeah.
All right, question for you guys. Is air conditioning sexist? Let us know in the comment section.
We don't know.
Yes or no?
Genuinely do not know at this point in 2019 if this is sexist.
Now, for those of you going, what the hell are these guys smoking right now?
Wait, we have to see the answers before they even roll in.
Nick Tracy says yes. Darling says yes. Tyler says no. Taco says yes. Someone says, I don't know.
That's a good answer.
There are somewhat. So, the New York Times, which this happens like every single summer, by the way, published an article saying that air conditioning is unhealthy, it's bad, and it's sexist, and that AC should be banned. Because in today's ridiculous outrage culture, apparently that's a thing. I don't understand it. I will say this, as someone who lives in Texas, if you take away my AC, I will find you.
Yeah.
I have a particular set of skills that are not useful for that at all, but I will find you somehow.
And producer Alicia over here thinks, actually what we are starting to agree upon now, it's more sexist to take air conditioning away because it makes the men smell worse and the women have to deal with that. So leave the air conditioning where it belongs.
Yeah.
Inside.
So I don't understand it. It feels like maybe this is more of a battle with the thermostat, which is fine. I understand that argument. But to claim that air conditioning, an inanimate object, has sexist feelings and thoughts doesn't make any sense to me. All right, that's the rant for the day. Let's avoid. I don't know. That's not politics. I don't know. No. Social topics? I don't even know. I'm done. All right, number 8, the Orlando Magic here. Back in the playoffs after going 42-40 last year. That's our projection. I think they have to be at least above 500 to make it this year again.
I think they'll land right about. I mean, it's almost the exact same team plus Al-Farouq Aminu, who I don't know if that's plus any wins for you, but I think it keeps you about even. Now, let's say Markelle Fultz gets healthy. Let's say Markelle Fultz all of a sudden becomes the number 1 pick that he's supposed to be. I mean, that's all of a sudden a really good team.
If to be anything more than like a 7-6, maybe at best seed, they do need Fultz to be that number 1 overall pick caliber player.
Which is why we're not projecting that, because we don't believe that'll happen.
Yeah. So again, the Magic's current lineup again, it's solid in the East. In the West, it'd be like the 12 seed at best. But in the East, if Isaac takes a step forward, if Mo Bamba stays healthy, takes a step forward, well, maybe they do end up being a little bit better.
Yeah, I like the Magic. I like what they've done. They've brought in these kind of long, lanky players, and that's just what they do now. And it makes it difficult for other players. I mean, that's why Aminu said he decided to sign with the Magic, is because when he said he played against them, they were so long and he couldn't play against them. So that's where he is now, and maybe Aaron Gordon takes another step forward as well.
All right, folks, giveaway for you from our friends over at MyBookie. Head over to chatsports.com/NBA now. Use that promo code ChatNBA for a 100% deposit bonus. And once you sign up and deposit and place your first bet, we'll hook you guys up with a jersey from our friends at MyBookie. Just email promo@chatsports.com. Once you sign up, deposit, place that first bet, we'll hook you guys up. Jimmy, they're not going to find a better deal out there.
Never.
Free jersey for $50.
Nowhere.
Yeah, $50 for MyBookie, $50 as an extra bonus on that. So you spend 50, get 50 in free money to bet with there on the NBA Summer League, I'm sure, and an NBA jersey. Perfect, especially if you're trying to find one right now. Save money in the end. All right, number 9, the New York Knicks. A surprise, Jimmy. But the bench is lit.
Look, they're going to be way better than they were. They're not
Yes.
going to win just 17 games. They're going to be right in the mix for that 8 seed, but I think they just barely miss it. They added a lot of quality players. You know, it wasn't the players they wanted, but they're still high-quality guys. It's going to be interesting to see, not to mention all the rookies, with R.J. Barrett stepping in. Hopefully he's more efficient than he has been in Summer League. And Iggy Brogdon apparently is the second coming. So we'll see what the Knicks can do. I think they're right in the mix for the 8 seed. They just miss it barely.
My point and why I haven't liked the Knicks offseason is I think they'll finish in that 8 to 11, 12. That seems like their likely outcome here, which is also the worst spot to be in the NBA. Not good enough to actually make the playoffs, not bad enough to end up with a high lottery pick that actually can change your fortunes. So grade the Knicks free agency moves. I still give it a C. It was a pivot that I guess makes sense if you're trying to win games, but why are you trying to win games?
Yeah, I agree. Look, yep, that's it.
Thank you.
That's really it. I don't know what else to even say to that. I think they should have taken one more year taking.
I took all of the words from Jimmy, so I'll let you do number 10 then, the Detroit Pistons.
Yeah, look, Detroit Pistons added Derrick Rose. They brought in Tony Snell in that John Lure trade that dumped him off in Milwaukee. They didn't really lose anybody, but they're just not that good of a team. I mean, they're not very deep. They didn't have a lot of space to maneuver. I think they look to move maybe Drummond and maybe even Blake Griffin for future assets because Drummond is an expiring contract. We'll see if they can get anything out of Griffin.
Now, if they get Russell Westbrook, maybe
this is a whole nother story. Whole nother story.
Yes, the fact they're probably in the playoffs at that point. But.
Or if Sekou Doumbouya reaches his full potential and becomes the next Kevin Durant, then the Pistons are the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference.
They're going to take you serious about Sekou at that point. The way you keep heaping praise upon him there.
I don't even care.
With the Heat getting Jimmy Butler, I think Detroit, as a 500 team last year, is the most likely to still finish around 500, but end up just missing the playoffs there. So then to number 11, the Chicago Bulls, who, look, they only won 22 games last year. They'll win more, but even if they win an extra 15, which I think is a reasonable expectation, that's not going to be enough.
I don't think so either. Markkanen was hurt a lot of last year, but
who I think is going to have a big breakout year.
I think they'll have a great year. I think the Bulls, their ceiling is, they slip into the 9. I don't think they'll get up to the 8 seed. It all hinges kind of on what Kobe White can become and also maybe what they can get out of Chris Dunn, because if they get a good deal out of Chris Dunn, then
I think Chicago needs one more year to kind of really take that step forward into being a playoff team. A popular sleeper team, the Atlanta Hawks, but Jimmy, I also think they're at least a year away, if not 2, frankly.
Yeah, look, 2 great pickups in DeAndre Hunter and Cam Reddish to go along with Trae Young and Kevin Huerter. But other than that, it's just kind of going to be a meh year. They took on the salary so they can get the future
Which
pick.
is smart.
Good. It's a good move. And eventually they're going to be back in the playoff picture, but it's not next season.
I'm a big fan of the way they're building. Trae Young was great. John Collins looks really good. I like young pieces in DeAndre Hunter and Cam Reddish and Kevin Huerter. But they're at least a year away from it.
Yeah.
And they'll get there, but not this coming season. All right, time for the bottom feeders. Number 13, the Washington Wizards. They might be fun to watch, but
really?
They're Isaiah Thomas.
Outside of Isaiah Thomas,
Bradley Beal.
I will never, unless they're playing my team, I will never willingly watch a Washington Wizards game this season.
Isaiah Thomas and Bradley Beal. I mean, that's all you need there.
I love Admiral Schofield, but that's it.
Yeah, this is a team that is in a pretty tricky spot in terms of a rebuild. They're not going to be very good. No. Number 14, the Cleveland Cavaliers. They also knowingly will not be good this season.
And they didn't even try to do anything in free agency.
Well,
I know they couldn't. But they really didn't try to do anything. Look, they'll try to move Kevin Love. They'll
J.R. Smith.
Try to dump J.R. Smith, who I think his guarantee date's coming up here pretty soon.
It is.
Need to get that figured out.
Trade him to the Thunder.
And look, Marquise Chris, David Nwaba, Nick Stauskas, they're all free agents. They don't really care if they walk or stay. They got their guy in Darius Garland. They'll try to figure out that backcourt, move from there, and be in the lottery again next season, top 5 pick.
And that's fine. That's how you rebuild properly. How you don't rebuild properly is doing what the Charlotte Hornets did. You lost your 2 best players in Kemba Walker and Jeremy Lamb. You threw almost $60 million at Terry Rozier when no one was going to offer, I don't think, even $40 million.
Nope.
If that. Now your unit, your overall squad, is terrible.
Horrible.
The Hornets have somehow found a way to pay to be bad. They better hope they suck and get a number 1 overall pick.
If they get number 1 overall pick, maybe they'll be fun eventually. But good Lord Almighty.
Just play Malik Monk and PJ Washington every single game. I don't know why they said they wanted to play him some in the G League. Just play him in the actual NBA.
Now, realistically, I do think the Hornets could be better than the Wizards and the Cavs.
Yeah.
But because of how miserable their offseason was and because of how poorly their they deserve to be the 15 seed. Like, that's what they're going to be. It's just so bad. They got to sell and sell fast.
All right, so what don't you guys like about our power rankings? Let us know in the comments section. Less controversial, I'm sure, than the Western Conference ones. You can at me on Twitter, @whatgoingdown11. But let us know what you guys think in the comments section.